Hold on to your butts. It's Wilhelm Screamfest.
Hello and welcome to Wilhelm Screamfest II. That's right, second year in a row. Today we're going to start off with, well, it's Friday, so we're going to do Modern Hits Friday. But first to do that, let's introduce our guests. We got Tyler and Terror. You guys want to introduce yourself?
Hello.
Say hi.
TylerBobo. That's me, TylerBobo the Great. TylerBobo the First, also to people who know me.
And I'm just Terror. That's me.
Yeah, we had to put Terror in here just because it's all scary films. So yeah, as I said, Friday is Modern Hits Friday, so it's pretty much everything in the last 5-6 years. And start that off, we're going to do Get Out, which came out, earlier this year?
Was it this year?
I think it was late last year, maybe.
I want to say the
Let's
last
see.
year.
It should be more...
Go to the Google.
Yep, 2017. I
Nope,
think it came
I
out,
lied.
February, right after, Valentine's Day. Perfect.
Oh, right, yeah, because it was for when love was in the air.
Mm-hmm.
It was good. It was a good romance film. I suggest you take your loved ones to see it.
So, when you guys saw this trailer or heard about it before, the hype started, what did you think?
I think I was promoting it a lot, and I didn't know that Jordan Peele was attached to it until I saw that first trailer. And the trailer, the original teaser one, didn't really give you a lot of details, but it just looked like a really interesting film. So I was really drawn to it. I didn't go to see it in the theater. As soon as it was available for home release, I watched it. But the more people saw it and how excited they were about it, I was really motivated to go see it. But I'm a type of person, when I go to the movies, I think of it as a community experience. I can't go see a movie by myself.
Yeah.
So I like to go to a film, and then once it's over, have a few drinks and talk about the movie and what you liked, what you didn't like, all that stuff. But as soon as it was available for home release, I just checked it out, and it was amazing. It's incredible.
I'd say for me, the trailer, I usually don't even bother. There's very few movies that I'll actually go to the theater to see. When I saw the trailer for Get Out, I was like, oh, it looks like an interesting thing, and they kept slapping on Jordan Peele's name. I was like, okay, well, this must be... I looked at it more not as psychological as it was, because Jordan Peele, I think Key and Peele and comedy and all that stuff. But hearing people when they would talk about it and say oh, I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't want to spoil it, because then that adds into my mind, it was that there's some crazy twist that you won't expect.
That's what I saw too.
Again, I just waited till home release.
Yeah, I saw this as it pretty much is an indie film for it's $4.5 million budget, which is nothing, especially for a horror film, and it made $250 million.
Yeah,
which thank God, the way the movie is, there's no there's gonna be a Get Out 2, a Get Out 3 every year.
Isn't there going to be a Get Out 2?
Is there? I hope not. I
don't know why I thought that is a thing.
I think he's planning to do more horrors related to society. So it might be in the same universe, but I don't think it's going to be a direct sequel to this film.
That'd be good then. I feel like if they do it again, it'd just be either a copy of itself or just a cop out. Come on, do something different. This was refreshing because it was something we haven't really seen. It's twists on the genre, but I don't know, it's hard to talk about this without getting spoilers.
Yeah. Oh,
so are spoilers off the table?
No, we'll do spoilers a little bit towards the end, but
okay.
We'll do a warning first.
Everyone lives.
But so yeah, it came out February, which I feel is perfect timing with politics of this year's been just bananas, and I don't know how can we explain without spoiling just the plot or the premise.
I think let's just get into spoilers now.
All right, spoilers.
Put up the big spoiler sign on the page.
Spoilers. Spoilers. Okay. If you have not seen Get Out and go see it.
Or pause and just come back later.
Pretty much. So we got an interracial couple, and what is his name? Chris. Created by,
I don't know the actor's
played
name.
by Daniel
Glover.
Kaluuya. I don't know how to pronounce that. But pretty much he's scared because he's never met his girlfriend's parents who are white, and he's black, so he's like
A
shit.
upper class white family.
Yeah. He's like, they're probably gonna be racist. I'm not saying they're like owning a big house and have slaves racist, but maybe something. And it turns out,
Well,
they kind of are.
Kind of do have a big house and a couple slaves.
So, what do you guys think? Like,
quote unquote slaves.
Going into the movie, what did you expect? Like, how racist did you expect it to be, if at all?
See,
No, go
go
ahead.
ahead. I was just gonna say I kind of figured that there would be some underlying things, like maybe they weren't intentionally
Mm-hmm.
like to just flat out be like, oh yeah, we these are our house servants and all this and that, but I expect, like, it's difficult to explain that just regardless, not because they intend to, but some things might slip up. Like they might want to try to act like how the dad kept saying, like, oh, I would have voted for Obama for a third election.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like things that you don't necessarily need to say, but somehow still say, and it creates this weird little awkwardness.
Yeah,
I expected that much.
there's a lot of playing of support of black people and black culture, specifically from the dad, like from the very beginning, like as
Mhm.
soon as Chris meets him. And I think the expectation that I had of the film, because I heard the premise, is I just thought it was going to be this really like socially awkward, like tension type film. But it doesn't play like that's a part of it. But the bigger part is just that tension that becomes less of a social thing and more of like a physical thing.
Yeah.
Because building up to that third act, and what I love so much about this film is there's so much symbolism and there's so much foreshadowing with the way the script is written, that it and you don't expect it. And even when you watch it the second time and it's still coming up, you still catch other little details of it. Which to me, that's one of the biggest points of me owning a film, is the first thing I say is, how many times am I going to rewatch this? And I feel like I could watch this film multiple times and still catch details that I may have missed previously.
Yeah, I feel like it's a really rewatchable film, and I feel like it's a good film for like film classes, like in college, to like just dissect either if it's like the cinematography or something that's placed in the background, or like even at the end when the girlfriend's eating the Fruit Loops and the milk is separate.
Mm-hmm.
Like those little things people might not notice the first time, but you go back and you're like, okay.
That was the most annoying part of the film. Pour goddamn milk in the cereal.
Well, like that whole moment where Chris is talking to the father, and he's walking him through the house and talking about like the history of the house and the family's history and things like that. He's telling you everything that's gonna happen throughout the film.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's like, oh, we don't go to the basement because there's black mold, and they're literally molding people together.
Yeah.
Or when they get to the kitchen and what is it? Georgina's there, and then he has that moment. It's like, oh yeah, this was my mother's favorite part of the kitchen. There's even a piece of her here, and literally Georgina, who is the mother, is standing in the kitchen.
Yeah, I like it's watching it the second time is better than the first, in the sense of you're able to find like, oh, I like all these subtleties that you would normally be like, oh, she's here in spirit, she loved the kid, but no, she's literally standing like 7 feet away from you.
Yeah, the twist, like, whenever I watch a movie, I try and figure it out. I'm like, okay, so these people aren't normal. There's something wrong with them. I really thought they were, like, just brainwashed, and then it was before the reveal. I can't remember what exactly happened, but you, like, sense, they're, like, putting someone else's mind in them. Like,
When he flashed the picture of that one guy, I don't remember their names, who in the beginning of the film you saw get abducted, and then you see him again at this party, and then when he takes a picture, you see his eyes kind of go a little white and gloss over, and then he comes back and he starts, freaking out, like get out of here or whatever. That's when I started. I was like, all right, well, there has to be something with the mother.
mm-hmm.
I didn't know if it would be the whole family, but the mother definitely with her, like, hypnosis stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And the
the
sunken place.
Andrew's
Yeah.
name. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know his white name, but it was. I really like how
white name.
the whole, not just the family, but like all the white people that came and the Asian guy that came to like the party are all in on it, and I'm like, oh, you're like really strong. Like, why are these
Mhm.
people so fucking weird? Like, what's up with them?
Like, oh, you're strong. Like, wow, you got a great eye for this type of art.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I really like that they threw in, like, I'm not sure if he's Japanese or what, but the Asian guy, I like that they throw that in there so it's not just, oh, it's all racist white people. Like, mix it up a little bit so it's, because racial, like, separation isn't just white black. There's so
It's
much
in,
more into
every
it.
culture. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, that made me wonder too if they experimented with different races.
maybe,
Like,
And then they just decided at the end, like, the African American was the perfect.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like,
Like, yeah, like they experimented with different races until they settled on like who is best, to transition
like
essentially.
all around attributes.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
That's what, when I saw him, that's what I thought.
Mm-hmm. Because they're saying, like, oh, black is cool. Black is in right now. And then the other person's like, oh, what is it like? Do you have advantages? Like, are you stronger? Or all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But
That
one
was basically they're testing the waters there, and then when they go in bid, be like, this guy, he's not what I'm looking for, and like maybe he's not the fastest, and I want to be fast. Or,
yeah.
this or that. Yeah. So that was them just like kind of poking and seeing what he had to offer.
I think another good thing about the writing is, like, even for, this might sound offensive, but just dumb people who, like, go to the theaters, I feel like easily people can be like, oh, this is an anti-white movie. This is just like, oh, power to the black person and all white people are evil. But it's written in a way where you trust, like, while most of the white people are bad, there's, like, good people in that universe, that it's not just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the white people are, all white people are bad and all black people are good. There's, like, because even Chris, he'll do something, like, he'll make a mistake about something, and like you
Misjudge.
expect, misjudge.
Yeah.
I feel like the way it's written is, it takes as, this could be any race, this could be anyone. It's not just a race. As they try and make it a racial thing, anyone, it could be relatable to it.
It's just just the current,
Yeah.
like, political part that was taking place in America when he was making it just happened to fall in white and black.
Yeah, I think this movie will be celebrated just as, like, the center of our political mishap that's just happening right now, and it's been happening the last few years. Before we get too political, can we talk about Rod? I feel
Rod's
like Rod,
the fucking hero.
I feel like he's the most amazing character in the movie.
That guy was the goddamn best.
Yeah.
It's like
PSA.
every line, his comedic timing was just perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he adds a lot of levity to the film. Like there's a good build up for things, and then he's just kind of like popping the balloon every so often.
He's basically the on-screen conscience of the viewer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, sex slaves and shit.
Yeah, just like, oh, this white family abducted him.
I remember when I saw, I was like, okay, this guy, he's gonna be the comedic relief. Like, let's see how they do, because we expected it to be somewhat funny coming from the Key and Peele show is related to, but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how intertwined, if it'd be like too much or like I'll put the viewer, but I thought it worked perfectly.
Yeah, and every interaction he had with Allison, like
Mhm.
towards the end and stuff, when he's talking on the phone, he knew something was up. It's like, oh, that bitch, she's a genius.
I got you, motherfucker.
She's a genius.
Oh, it's so good. That's another. Even if like it wasn't written well, if it was just, I would watch a movie with just him in it. Like throw him in anything. Throw him
Yeah,
in Friday the
it'd be a
13th.
good,
Throw him in
fun-
Nightmare on Elm Street. It's just funny
Indeed.
because like I almost like he knows what's going on in a horror movie when like in pretty much every horror movie, all the characters are oblivious to what's happening.
Mhm.
Or they're like, oh, let's. I heard that sound. Let's walk over there by myself. Which
Or
takes
in
the-
every zombie movie, they've never heard of a zombie in their life.
pretty
What?
much.
The
Yeah.
dead's coming back. I don't know what's happening. They're eating people.
Dad.
Yeah, it's just zombies. Say it, damn it.
I know. They didn't even say it on Walking Dead. I don't think they've ever said it.
I don't think they've ever said zombie. They've only referred to them as like walkers.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
roamers
Well,
and
everybody has
shit.
their own
Yeah.
own thing in The Walking Dead. Yeah.
Walkers, roamers, standstills,
Geeks. Yeah.
Zeke.
Did you guys get scared at all in this movie? Like, for me, I think from the beginning there was like an uneasy tone that was just set in, and you're trying to like feel for, okay, where's
It's
this
definitely
going?
the tension
Mm-hmm.
of trying to understand something that you can't quite put your finger on.
Mhm.
But as for like jumping or anything, no, I didn't.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
like jump scares, but it's more like, oh, Georgina's looking in the mirror, or she's looking out the window, which that actress gives a really good performance because she's like, when she's like smiling, but like tears coming out of her eye.
Yeah, like she's
Oh,
trying to
God.
fight through the smile to say whatever it is, but she just can't do it. But I also noticed how there wasn't no like quick cuts
Mm-hmm.
to like get you with like, and then the loud music playing, like when he's outside with the cigarette and you see the gardener just running at him from like way down the way. It's not
yeah,
like
yeah.
they just did some weird quick cut and the guy just ran right by him and then it shows him running off. You see the buildup of him coming, and you're like,
Mhm.
oh shit, what's about to happen? Then he just turns and keeps going.
Yeah, usually in movies when they do that, it's like the character's not paying attention, so like something's running
Right.
at them but behind. But I thought it was really cool to switch it so he's actually seeing him coming. He's like, "What the hell is Walter doing?" Oh shit, he's coming towards me, and they just
Yeah, they should, like, he sees all this instead of it happening behind his back until it's too late.
Mhm.
So he sees it and he's trying to get anyone to listen, but just no one's.
And the music is really good. Like the like violins and all the string instruments. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like even adds more to the tension.
It reminds me of like those more old school type. That's, I think Insidious did well
Mm-hmm.
with the like the screeching of the violins and because it really adds to the like the horror element.
It's like we don't need jump scares to be scared. Like
Mm-hmm.
this movie is great because it makes you feel like, oh, this could be me, or like, what if this was me? It's not just, oh, somebody's gonna come out the door or behind and get me.
Like some weird monster that
Yeah.
would never really happen. Whereas this
Yeah.
is like, these are real people, real families, real jobs that people out there in the world have.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what if they just decided to, like, oh, you know what, I'm going to experiment a little. And it worked.
Was I the only one that thought that the brother looked like Macaulay Culkin, like even
No.
more cracked out than?
I mean, a little bit, I could see that, but because he's in The Last Exorcist. He's the brother there.
Mm.
So that's where I always just go straight to whenever I see him on camera.
I can't think of really a bad actor. Like everyone's like pretty good. They balance everyone out. Like no one gets too much screen time. And I mean, Chris
Mhm.
does, but it's because he's the main character.
Well, yeah, you're basically seeing what Chris sees.
Hmm.
Yeah.
The mom, Catherine Keener, she was
Oh, she was the
40-year-old
creepiest.
virgin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Where the Wild Things Are. I thought she was like the scene where he gets hypnotized. I wasn't expecting the movie to go there because I feel like that was like a really really big budget scene in this like $4 million movie where everything goes away and he's just floating and the screen like I don't know if he ever like had heat stroke or like blacked out, but that's how the vision goes. Like it's like a little TV that's
Slow
going far
tunnel.
away.
Yep, slow tunnel vision.
That's just frightening to me. Like, and you can't move.
I'd say that would be the worst part is
The paralyzed feeling.
it happening and you having no power to prevent it.
Being a passenger in your own body.
Yep.
Yeah.
What? Call back.
Another good thing it does is it like flips, like, you know how every horror movie has the final girl, like one girl versus the monster or the killer. You switch it so it's very rarely I feel like movies have like a guy as like the last survivor and he's trying to get out, and he pretty much does the same thing. He'll use his smarts and you may think, oh, he's fucked, but he does something off camera which I think is brilliant in writing, where some people, I think even when we were watching it on Rabbit with everyone else on Twitch, and people were like, oh, he's hypnotized again, he's fucked, but then he did something off screen when he picked that cotton and put it in his ear.
I would say, yeah, they kind of like show you, like, oh, when he's like digging at it and you see the cotton hanging out and how they like, you know, kind of stay on that frame for a little bit. It kind of is like if you could put it together, you could be like, oh, well, he's going to do something with this. And then when you see him pull it out of his ear, you're like, yep. Genius.
And as like sadistic as it sounds, I've never seen a more satisfying death for like an entire family. Like, you're like cheering for him that even though he can just go away, like, no, kill them, because if not, they're gonna just do this to someone else.
Yeah, like horror films are such a cathartic experience, right? It's like the same reason why people like going on roller coasters, like even if you hate heights, right? Is because you're overcoming something and you're experiencing this through the protagonist. So the entire time, you know, he's telling you like something's weird, something's going on, like, and then you get that payoff that, yeah, something is weird, something is going on. It's like, but how is he going to rectify this? And then, but yeah, you're just cheering every single moment when he's taking out those members of the family.
Yeah.
And then even too, there is a moment in that final scene because Chris's backstory essentially is that he lost his mom because she was struck by a car, right? And anytime he arrives at moments like that, he kind of just walks away, or he locks up, or he freezes up, which is very evident when the deer hits the car, or the buck, or whatever.
Yeah.
And so you get that right in the very beginning, and then you see why it was such a problem when he's talking to the mother, when he's hypnotized. And then towards the end, too, at the very ending, where he's just like, well, if I leave her, she's going to die, right? Which he does. You know, he just leaves her for dead, which was, I guess, troubling for me at first when I saw it, but then I got to see the alternate ending, and I thought the ending that Jordan Peele decided to use was much more appropriate.
Yeah,
rather than the alternate.
I was just gonna ask, what do you guys thought of the alternate ending? For those that don't know, the alternate ending is pretty much, wasn't it the cops
show up instead of Rod, and they basically take him away, and he's been in prison for like 6 months when Rod comes to visit him, and he's like, right. You know, we're gonna fight this, we're gonna do this, and it's basically Chris just saying like, no, there's no point, we're not gonna win this, just let it go.
Yeah,
and he just basically is in prison.
Yeah, and he's
the whole family.
He actually kills her, too.
Yeah,
you know, and that's
when he's got the hands around to her throat. Right?
Yeah, he's literally caught murdering her. So yeah, I think the whole aspect of him like overcoming like his greatest fear, his paralyzing fear, in that aspect. And then because he doesn't shoot her, right? Like
No,
the
the grandfather gardener guy.
Walter
He's
does,
the
Yeah.
yeah.
one. He's the
Mhm.
one who takes the gun from her like he's going to kill Chris, and then he
Mhm.
shoots her in the stomach, and then he shoots himself.
Yeah.
That was crazy. I feel like if they went with the alternate ending, it would have been like too on the nose and
That would have
maybe
been a lot more of a political ending.
yeah,
Mhm.
which is fine. Like I like stuff that
It
stirs up or
it
that's
definitely
shocking,
fit the
but
theme of the movie.
it feels it was more satisfying with Rod coming. Like yes, Rod saves
Hmm
the day.
Mhm.
TSA shit.
Yeah, you felt like a sense of relief as
Hmm.
opposed to a sense of dread after leaving. Like, God, that guy just for all he
Mhm.
just went through, he's now just
Yeah.
that's it for him.
Yeah.
I guess we'll go into so here we do 5-star rating system. So you can do
Okay.
like you can do full stars or half. So like 2.5, 3.5, 4.5.
I can't do like, oh, I give it a 2.75. Oh, I give it a
No, we'll do that.
4.25.
We'll do that. We'll
Oh,
do
damn it!
point whatever,
I was
whatever
just
you
trying
want
to
to
be
do.
difficult.
You're Tyler
I give
the
it a
Great, so
4.306972.
we'll just go around. Give I guess just a brief overall what you think of the film rating, and we'll call it. Um, you want to go first, Tyler?
No, but I will. I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was a really good psychological thriller, especially because when I go into horror movies, I like seeing the limits that the main character has to be pushed through, and like an overcoming odds, how they're going to survive if they do at all,
Mm-hmm.
really. And I thought it did a really good job of like portraying that of how basically everyone he was around was against him, and he still managed to pull through.
Yeah.
And then it could just like it was not so I didn't expect like this movie to be like this at all from what I saw of like the trailers or the brief times like people who would talk about it but they didn't like mention spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, because if you mention spoilers, this movie is just a
Oh
whole
yeah.
different movie than you initially expect when you first see it. So
Mhm.
I enjoyed it. Probably wouldn't have seen it in theaters again just because I don't. I got to be very specific about movies I see in theaters, but I definitely say to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, rating. I give it a 4 out of 5.
Okay. Terror.
Um, rating wise, I'll say 4.25.
4.25.
Ooh, bold.
Yeah, I was gonna go 4.5. I considered going 5, but I settled on 4.25. Why? Because I want to give it a 4.25. That's why.
Okay.
No, but yeah, I think it's a great movie. It's very unique. It's a good introduction for Jordan Peele. He garnered a lot of jobs essentially from it because it was so unique and so interesting, and people saw the success of it and want to throw a ton of cash on him, and I think that's incredibly warranted.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's see, it's rewatchable. If it was re-released in the theater, I'd watch it for sure. I think it's gonna be a classic film for a lot of people in years to come.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I guess I'm most interested to see what Jordan Peele's gonna really do next. Like if he's gonna have uh all these other films sit in the same universe. Like, are we gonna have a scene where Chris is gonna pop up like in the background um or interact with some other character in some way, shape, or form? That's what I'm most interested in. But as a whole, um, yeah, I just really enjoyed the movie. So
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect. Like when I first saw the trailer, and then with all this hype coming, like, oh, this movie's great. This movie's amazing. I look on Rotten Tomatoes, it's like 98%. I'm like, what? Like, are people like crazy? So I finally go and watch it. I'm like, huh, this is actually a pretty good movie. Um, I don't think it's like a perfect movie, so I can't give it like a 5 out of 5. But I would say 4.12 because it's
No Shanghai Noon. Perfect
Yeah.
5.
it's pretty good, but I feel like the overhypeness kind of killed it for me, which I don't know. It's hard to stay away from hype now because of the internet and social media. We didn't hype it up too much, which is a good thing. Like we could have went like all off like how normally people like talk about this movie, but I really like how it brings up like the racism that lies within the country and that like people are like trying not to talk about, but it's really there and like just exploits everything in like society today. So it doesn't make like a fantasy world, even though there's some science fiction elements, but I feel like this can actually happen, and all the characters, whether they're evil or Chris or Rod, you like them all. Like even the parents, as evil as they are, they're written so well that you don't root for them, but you just want to see what are they gonna do next. Like you're anticipating, which goes to show that it's good writing. Which this movie is also making me excited for the new Halloween movie because we're gonna see another person that's Danny McBride, who's known for comedy but has this affection for horror films. So we're gonna see how he takes that, which I hope is good.
Fantastic job in Alien Covenant.
I say it'll be like seeing Seth Rogen and I think Evan Goldberg, who did Preacher, which normally isn't in their like wheelhouse that you would think of when you hear those names. And Preacher, I've only seen the first season, but Preacher I really enjoyed it.
I heard it was really good. But yeah, that's pretty much. Oh, I hit the mic. That's pretty much it for Get Out. We all like this movie. If you haven't seen it, I don't know why you listened to this whole thing because we just spoiled the movie for you. But yeah, this definitely, we all agree this is a rewatchable movie. Maybe not in theaters for some people, but definitely, I'm sure it's cheap on Blu-ray, or it's on Amazon Prime, I think still.
I think it's like $15 or something like that.
Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah. Like, especially if you're like a real movie buff, you'll enjoy.
It's an important film.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed Green Room or are interested in watching Green Room, you should watch this one. That's my suggestion.
Green Room.
Yep.
So good.
Taking a normal person and putting them in
extraordinary
yeah, just to see how they would react.
But yeah, that's it for the review. Stay tuned every weekday. We're doing a new review, either written or in podcast. And soon Tyler and Terry are going to join me again for another movie. I'm not going to say what. You're just going to have to wait and see.
Let's just say it's the month long of darkness.
Yes. For Thirsty Thursdays. So that might give you a little hint of what it is. But thanks for listening. I'm Ikaika.
Terror.
Oh, I'm Tyler.
We're professionals here. All right. Thank you for listening.